Good morning, Zodiac, and welcome. It's the Soul Family Read for the 2nd of November, Tuesday. I looked it up. I drift further and further from reality. I have an idea I came up with, and I don't know. Midpoint, Neptune, Saturn in your chart. Boy, I forget. Go to your midpoint. It turned out to be 12.5. I don't know why I just thought of this. I think this is where the veil is. This is where the energy is thin and we can connect with spirit and walk right through the midpoint. Neptune, everything that's unreal. Saturn, everything that's real. Saturn, everything you can wrap your knuckles on. Neptune, everything you cannot wrap your knuckles on. Midpoint, boom. Where's that for me? Mars at 10, Jupiter at 15. Midpoint between Mars and Jupiter is where that is. Coincidence? There are no coincidences. Like Gibbs says in NCIS, there are no coincidences in a crime scene investigation. Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck today, guys. As usual, I like how it shows up. I just saw the bottom. I already pre-shuffled a lot as I was out here grounding myself. It's been tough lately, just physically, at a point where, I don't want to do a reading where I'm physically stressed to the point where I can't focus. So I have to pick my times. And I was listening to some Michael Fronte to get the energy up. Yeah. So today I'm just going to do a 4-card checkup on where we're at. I'm still thinking about the new moon. It's going inside for me, going into the depths. If there was ever a time to go into the basement, and you go in there because, you want what's real. And I'm a Venus and Scorpio, so I'm going to love you because of your darkness. I am going to love you because of your demons. I will meet them, I will greet them, and I will live with them. Venus and Scorpio, we have that ability. Now, what it comes down to for me, for love in a lot of ways, is can I, and do I want to live with those demons? But we all have them. So it's that myth, where you have to go to hell, you have to be kidnapped and taken into the depths of hell, and we go through that time, the dark night of the soul. This could be a little bit like that. It doesn't have to be as dark as, I don't believe. It's about depth and about shadow stuff, but real depth and can be real connection here. The sun and the moon are coming together. I mean, for me, it's like new moon is all about like realizations. I'm about manifestation, but it's a great time to think about what we want and just make plans. You could even say every month, that's the time, sit down and do the budget. There's Saturn. And make your plans at the new moon. And also, Scorpio energy, this could be right on my Venus. It's about looking at the flesh and blood of love, it gets me. Venus is exalted in Pisces, and I guess I get it. I've been there, Venus and Pisces. Love her, but it's unconditional. But I think part of the reason it's unconditional because it doesn't really get into the blood and guts. The Neptune energy, it keeps it in Pisces, kind of a spiritual and ethereal to a degree where you're not getting the kind of hands-on kind of feeling like a meat and bones and flesh and sex tied up in Scorpio for that reason. For Venus and Scorpio, sex is love. I mean, people say, well, you can't confuse sex with love. There is no, but sex is also epiphany. Sex is my soul. Sex is spiritual. The table's spiritual. Everything's spiritual. That's the thing. Everything here that seems, physical is spiritual. Everything we can wrap our knuckles on, we also can't wrap our knuckles on, because, there's a concept of this table for me. You know, at some level, that's all it is. So, I'm digging it here. And I got a strong Sagittarius too. Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, midpoint, Saturn, Neptune, right at the midpoint for me, and all in my natal of Mars and Mercury here. So let's go ahead with that in mind. That's my feeling right now, is the Fool. I'm feeling like the Fool. It's a good energy. I love the Fool. I always say I love the Fool. It's also Aries energy to me, you know. Fool always be Aries, following the instincts. You know, they always say, you know, well, Aries, it's the babies. You don't really think about the consequences, but you know, Aries have an amazing instinct. You know, they can react, and it seems to be without thinking, but I believe the unconscious mind is vastly more powerful. And that's where the moon comes in. Our moon represents all that. It's vast. It's the iceberg that's underneath the water that we don't see. And somehow this Fool energy is us tapping into that. And it's, you know, fearless. It's joyful. The Fool is full of joy. It's like, yay, jumping off the cliff with my umbrella. It's wonderful. And optimism. There's a lot that goes with this. You know, if you're a spiritual person, like I noticed as for years as an astrologer mostly in tarot, a lot of people don't want to really acknowledge that because there's so many people around them that are not in the Fool energy. So, you know, this can be people saying to you, are you okay? I mean, that's pretty out there. What you're talking about, angels? What? I mean, what are you talking about, energy? And, you know, it's sort of like the whole society we're in, you know. And I always say, like, even a strong, very strong fish, very special fish, you know, if it swims in a polluted ocean its entire life, it's going to get to it. And that's kind of where we're at. We're like swimming in this polluted ocean. This whole society, by and large, is materialistic, and it's going to disregard and disparage this kind of energy of the Fool. And always with usually with restrictions, limitations of Saturn, admonitions, control. It's like, because the Fool in Aries can't be controlled. Won't be controlled. This is in our blocking. I think we can look at this one as Two of Pentacles reversed. And that's not about making decisions. That's the engine. The electrical engine too is the Two of Pentacles. It's a positive and negative. It's flowing, the yin yang. To me, it's like just flowing, but it's very personal. It's using our personal energy to manage our lives in such a way. It's kind of Virgo-y to me, because it's 6th house, about routines, having good routines, managing things. This is the problem, and I can get it. It's like, how do you both release yourself into this non-spiritual realm, what I'm talking about, going back to the midpoint of your natal Saturn and Neptune. You can figure that out. Let me know if you want me to. It's what I do. This is kind of this energy of really letting go, really releasing, fully believing, totally trusting in spirit. You know, my friend asked me once, said, seriously, you're going to move to this new place and get this place right here just because you feel it feels right, and that's how you're going to choose? And I'm like, exactly. So this is the energy with the Fool and Aries too. You don't really stop. You don't stop for a second to question your feelings. If it feels right, it's right. If that sounds trite, maybe I'm not conveying the power of this, because this Aries energy, you know, everybody else in the zodiac, say it was one of them games, you know, around the world or something, and you got, there you go, you got the 12 signs. And by the time everybody else has kind of figured out basically what to do and read all the instructions, Aries is already at the 3rd point and getting up, you know, and they're quarter the way through the maze or whatever, right? And you know, they manage to pull it off when it's a high vibing Aries energy of this Fool here going for it. not being afraid, not overthinking, not really thinking so much, going because you've learned to trust your feelings, and this can be like in reverse. It's like not really trusting our feelings, not feeling grounded. Yeah. And there's Eight of Swords, and this is the advice from Spirit. Now, Spirit's not going to advise us that we should be in an Eight of Swords energy, I don't think, here. So it's trying to give advice about the energy that's really going on with this reverse Two of Pentacles. And for me, this is physically a lack of energy. And it really is as if I feel like my soul and my spirit is right here. But my body is just about, I can't hardly function. It's so bad physically, just every day now. So just getting back to feeling normal. And it does have me in this Eight of Swords energy. I admit to it. It feels like it's just going on for too long, and I just want to be back to feeling like I can do this. I want to go outside and just enjoy the day. I want to wake up and just feel fully, physically, as good as I feel emotionally and spiritually, really. Bottom of the deck, I have to weigh in here with the Knight of Swords. That's definitely connected to the Eight of Swords. This is the coming at you. Eight of Swords here. Knight of Swords. This is Mars energy, taking actions here. Overall energy. Eight of Swords. You can see that, I think, pretty good in this light. And just how does that make you feel? Thoughts. Yeah, it's very directly for me. It's like lately, it's like, I don't know, it hit me yesterday, and I'm very careful about my intentions and thoughts, so I catch it, and I'm like, negate that, but it kind of surprised me, and it was just kind of like, maybe this is it, like I'm never going to get any stronger, any better, this is it, this is what I got to work with until I die, Eight of Swords. It's a pretty hard thought. And I caught it, and I was like, jeez, man, I saw like how tired I'm getting. I'm getting tired of it. Six of Pentacles, kept seeing that show up. This is the outcome. I'm telling you, man, for the full, starting out with the full energy, this is pulling ourselves up by the bootstraps. This Knight of Swords is taking action, particularly in terms of communication. In my own mind, you could say this was something happening in my own mind. Hey, maybe this is as good as it gets, Dave. It's just like downhill from here, and you're just going to have to accept it, that you got a bad ride physically, because you've been trying like for a year. It just keeps like, every time I get up, I get slapped back down physically. I just don't want to give up. And I think this promises that, I'm doing the right things, believe me. And I got help, my girlfriend's a nurse, a chiropractor, she's a Curiandra. Amazing knowledge of natural substances, just even the park over here, she's explaining, well, that you can use for fever, and that over there is a diuretic, and so believe me, I'm doing everything I can. And I think too, with the Six of Pentacles, I feel, again, at least for myself, so I include myself in this reading, it's a little bit of the energy of karma, I feel like slamming into me, absorbing. And I think this is cool because Sagittarius season is coming with the eclipse in Sagittarius. And I think that's going to be all kinds of release of this stuff. And, talking about the Venus being in Scorpio, for me, on my Venus, in this new moon right there at 12 degrees, Scorpio, is a time where we might go in and really deal with some of the darkest things in the basement of ourselves here in that Scorpio energy. But out of it, with the Six of Pentacles, I see that as very personally taking control, rolling up the sleeves, doing what needs to be done, and it's kind of like, to me, it's like steady as she goes, I feel like Spirit's trying to say it. I know it's frustrating, but just just steady at the helm, steady as she goes. All right, that's what I'm getting, guys. Thank you.